Well, thank you very much. We must state that the DNA is a test that that can differentiate every individual in the world. We need to first know that the DNA, we have over 99% of every human having about the same DNA. But it is this 1% that we can actually use to differentiate the different individual in the world. Also, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Prof.
Yeah. Also, we can use the DNA to trace the origin of a human being. You have seen some people in the foreign land. They can claim that they come from this part of Africa. Some may say they come from Benin because the DNA of such person will be mapped towards that area. So I can authoritatively say that the DNA can differentiate every single human being in the world. Now, for paternity issue, the father and the mother, they are the if they are the since they are the progenitor of the child, the child will take part of the DNA of the mother, will take part of the DNA of the father. And what is usually done is to now look at those areas that can segregate and check the DNA of the child at those areas. For every DNA, we have two alleles, that is two levels, two lines. One will be from the father, one will be from the mother. So when you check the father's DNA, you check the mother's DNA, and you look at the same locus or loci, as we call it, you must be able to type the DNA from the father and from the mother to that child. So many times, when a child is not fathered by a particular man, the different areas that they can use to segregate will not tally with that of the child. And we can say that that child is most likely not being fathered by that man. But I can tell you authoritatively that the DNA is a very strong tool, it's a perfect tool to differentiate human beings generally.
Yes, why we raise this issue of the validity of the efficacy of the DNA testing is because a recent revelation showed that 6 of every 10 children taken for DNA turns out to be negative. It turns out to be that they are not really fathered by their supposed father. So at the end of the day, this is a very worrisome figure. And what do you think would be the reason for this kind of huge turnout of negativity in DNA test?
Well, thank you. This can be taken as one of the fallacy of statistics. You see, it is not every child that you go and do a DNA for. It is when there is dispute many times that you go and do the DNA. And there must be some suspicion ab initio before they will now go for the DNA of such child. So it may not be totally correct to say categorically that every 6 out of 10 firstborn are not fathered by their supposed father. It is because you have had a very tiny number of group of people who have issues to do with the paternity that goes for that test. So even with that, I can tell you that because of our cultural nature and the loss of our cultural activities during the times of yore, you have parents ensuring that their children are not having any form of sexual coitus before marriage. But today, it has we have lost that tradition and culture in our area. And I can tell you too, most single ladies who tend to marry tend to marry out of wedlock before they get married. It is the pregnancy that usually make them to say, okay, let me marry. And because of that, and well, many ladies may have one or two person who they are following. It may be difficult for them to know who is their real father. So I can tell you too, it's an issue that we believe is rife within our environment. But I want to say that it does not mean that the percentage means for every person in the public, in the population. If you want to have a population,
Yeah, Prof, sorry to cut in now. We're referring to a study, an interview that was published in Premium Times newspaper recently. And
yes,
we're using that, of course, just like with all researches. You take a sample, you administer your questionnaire, then you use the figure to generalize. So we're not saying everybody or I mean the whole Nigeria, we're referring to that particular interview.
Yes.
And the geneticists did say that out of every 10, people that came forward for the DNA testing, then 6 turned out to be fathered by other persons, as against, their supposed fathers. And we want to use that those statistics, to engage you more. Like I told my colleagues earlier, I'm worried. Is it that we're having more infertile men in Nigeria? And if so, then why is that the case, Prof?
well, I can tell you that infertility is fairly common in this country. And we have this cultural belief that men are not infertile, that anybody who has infertility in marriage are tended to be the ladies. But I can tell you, likely we have a lot of men that are not fertile. However, we must say that the issue of a first child cannot be used to determine if we have more men who are infertile or not, because many of them may subsequently have children that are delivered to the family. But it is the cultural and the societal pressure, the activities of the would-be bride around the time in which they get pregnant that I think we should be looking at up to. Because if we are saying, does it mean that men are becoming infertile? It's certainly that it is certain that it's a man who actually got the lady impregnated. So we cannot use
But
that.
another, of course, another man or other men.
So it's still the same population. So I can say that men, we can't use that one to judge the infertility of men.
Well, Prof, why
right.
I think why my colleague asked that question is that apart from the infidelity that normally leads to this paternity fraud, we still have another issue. We have the issue of cryptic pregnancy, where couples will now walk to the hospital and say, we need a baby and we cannot get that baby. And then the wife now tells the doctors the sex of the baby, and before you know, they inject the pregnancy hormones into the woman, and they are the ones that are going to tell her when she's due for delivery, and then she comes, and then they fake a delivery situation where they now bring a baby for the woman, and they say that is your baby. You see, these are the kind of fraud we are talking about.
Well, I can say that
Hmm.
I can say that the society pressure is much in Nigeria, and it is our area. We want to have a family or a young couple, and within 6 months, 1 year, a lot of people are complaining that we expected them to have had pregnancy or have got a child, and we always believe that every marriage must end up with children. So the pressure is there. And now we have had advancement in technology. Today we can have artificial insemination. We can do test tube baby. We can have someone who will carry the pregnancy for the others. We can have women who are generally not being able to have eggs and be pregnant. And we have so many men who can actually do the activity, but they don't have any spermatozoa in their semen, and all of them must in our society have a child or the other. So that is why you are seeing a lot of, and it is because of the technology. Before, when the technology is not available, we tend to actually put those people in a position that they are like an outcast within the society. But today, many people are aware, many people can afford it, and that's why you are seeing a lot of them doing it. The one that is bad is the one that they will have to go and get children or babies when through the wrong ways. Today you can go and adopt, or otherwise you can get artificially to get a baby through the artificial insemination, and they will reimplant that baby within the uterus of the mother. So things are getting changed in this technology world.
Yeah, Prof, thank you so much. We've on this issue, I know that the women are more or less vilified. And here, see me, I'm surrounded by them all, but somehow it's our bronze who bear it. But what I want to ask is this: in where the issue of DNA testing comes up, and the families, they are well aware, or I don't know whether is it that the father is not aware of the process that they may have gotten undergone to have a child. That how can this issue be, kind of worked around so that when the testing comes out, it is even though it's not the man is aware of it, the woman is not made to bear the brunt of it, so to say.
Well, I think sincerely there are so many things we have to put into consideration, and I think it's very difficult for you to see a child that is not that the mother is not the actual mother. It is most possible or likely that we have children that are not fathered by their will-be father. And I can say the pressure is much more on the ladies. I've had cases in which even we have gone ahead to exhume bodies, to go and dig up corpses, to take sample from the man to confirm if a child is his or not his, because while he was alive, he may have had some other lady somewhere else and unknown to the family. So I think it is still by and large society pressure. I still take it as a cultural deficiency on our own side to look at children as not legitimate children or legitimate child. There is no child that is an illegitimate child. At least every child has a father, and even if it's not that particular man that is his father, he has a father. So I think the society will need to understand this and be able to absorb the ladies of that. But the major thing about the ladies is that if they know they are close to some people and one is more prosperous, sometimes they may want or they may tend to go to the more prosperous one. At least that is some assurance of better living. I think they need to know that times have changed. To assess and to know the father of any of the children is very easy. Very, very easy. It doesn't take any major invasive that you have to puncture, do anything. It's just book a smear and you can actually confirm. So we need to advise everyone to be more truthful in terms of our relationship between man and woman.
Prof, I want to ask you, what is the cost implication of having a DNA test? Is this something that the average person can easily afford? So you can learn that we can recommend that men should still go and do the testing for their it's still available. Why do you waste time? Let's be sure so that we won't leave it out. So what is the cost implication like?
Well, there is this saying that what you don't know does not harm you. So it is not ideal for you to just say, okay, let me.
That's in every man now because the figure is so.
So, so, so I think we have to be careful in this regard. uh, Too much knowledge sometimes can harm some happy house. So,
Yes, I agree with you, Prof.
except you
I
have.
agree with you. Because I think, sorry to cut you short, even the geneticists,
I can't hear anything. Hello, I can't hear.
Am I dead?
hello, can you hear us now, sir?
I can hear now.
Okay, what I'm saying is that
You're referring to that geneticist and marriage.
Yes. Salami said that if everyone start doing DNA tests in the country, the whole country will scatter. That there will be no marriage again.
What I see is that if you want people to be more honest, infidelity will reduce. If you know you are going to be caught, let them play cool.
Of course.
Marriage can still be there, but people now live according to the tenets of marriage.
Let's hear what Prof has to say in this regard.
Well, as a Catholic, me myself as a Catholic, we are encouraged to go and do penance, go and confess your sin. But can you actually go outside and confess sin outside? The whole place will destroy. So, in as much as when we have doubt, it is advisable we do DNA. I don't think it should be a routine test because there are so many things that certainly. Look, Nigeria has been known, and it has been internationally known that Nigeria has a very high rate of infidelity, both for men and women. It is an international thing. So it's better for us not to make it a national policy that you have to do DNA, you have to do this. I don't think it's important. But if anybody has issue that you want to confirm, yes, you can go, but it shouldn't be a national policy.
Okay, finally, Prof, let's just ask you the final question, and this one is advisory. What now happens to the man who discovered that the child he has been fathering is not the biological child? Should he stop paying their school fees and take away other responsibility has been taken as their father?
But this is what we will.
And then, how does this affect the children? And how do they begin to heal psychologically and emotionally, Prof?
I will answer philosophically as a Yoruba man. They say someone who has a child, it is children that will bury him. Someone who does not have a child, it is also children that will bury him. Nobody knows a good child. Nobody knows a child that will take care of him. We have had cases even in the Bible in which we have children that have gone to attack their father, and some wage war against their father. We have had some people who are not the children, and they have been good to their supposed guidance. So every child or everybody that you have a chance to father, to lead, to take care of, I think we should do that. If not for anything, for humanity, because at the end of the day, every one of us will die. Either we have a child or not.
Thank you very much, Prof, for gracing us with your presence in this in leadership podcast. We are very grateful, sir.
Thank you.
We are hoping that we'll have you some other time again.
Thank you very much.